Hello. Yes, just in time for the moment that you've been waiting for. It is the sequel one shot. Like I said in the last part, the last video, this is the one shot, the sequel one shot. I have never read this before. I didn't skim through any parts of them at all. It's cold read, so you never know what you expect. But what I can expect from this one shot is that there will be some NSFW stuff, so this week's about to be a little warning, so there's going to be some disclaimer that, yeah, if you're under 18, don't watch this. But if you're over 18, you're comfortable at it, you can go ahead and do that. Anyways, let's read the summary first before we're doing anything else, okay? So the summary says, for this sequel, this very small one, okay? They've been dating for a while, and Lance really loves his amazing boyfriend. Loves going to his shows, loves watching him play the drums, loves talking dirty with him across the road with sign language, loves being dragged out to the car to naughties, the usual things. And it's rated E, and it's 4,000 words. So, not a lot. So there's a little surprise to know what's going on. Surprise, wrote this a few months ago, and they decided to post. So, to post the second chapter as to the main shot instead of a separate thing. Okay. So this is the continuation of the AU of Moth and Flame. So yeah, I can. And then so this is the part that we never had the Exor keep being the drummer in that main story. So it's nice. All right, are you ready to read this one shot? This sequel of this one shot? Okay. Again, I've never read this before, so let's hop onto this. Here we go. He is incredible. Set aside the fact that he's hot as heck for a moment, which is something that should never be set aside, but just for a moment, okay? Aside from being hot, a cute, adorable, gorgeous, pretty little thing, he is also just incredible. He's smart and wicked sharp. Yeah, there are some things that go right over his head, but he has this sharp intelligence and sharp cunning. He's funny in an adorable and dry humor kind of way. He's soft, he's encouraging, he's supportive. He's fiercely loyal and unwavering in his conviction. He's kind-hearted and selfless. And how the ever-living heck did Lance manage to land that? He doesn't know what angel of fate trip and spill all the luck to a spot, but frick, he's gonna take it. Anyway, point is, his boyfriend. That's right, boyfriend. It's been months, and Lance still finds himself all giddy over that. Is incredible. Right now, he's sitting in a crowded bar slash music slash venue, watching his boyfriend be incredible. And the worst part, most of the people here don't even realize how incredible he is. After all, the insane drummer behind the kit is deaf. The Blade More is a talented band, and they're gaining quite a lot of notoriety locally. It helps that the band members are friends with the owner of this venue, and getting to play here has really built up their fan base. But while some good old-fashioned nepotism got them in the door, it's them that keeps bringing customers on the nights that they play. All their friends are here tonight. Everyone coming out to support Keem and get some drinks, and honestly, just have some much-needed friend time. Not that Lance is paying much attention to them. They stand around a couple high tables, stand some of them on stools. Lance has opted to stand for reasons. Well, one reason specifically. And that's the very butt plug nestled in his butt that he really doesn't want right against the seat. He stands with his back to the seat, elbows propped up under behind him, leaning back with lazy ease. Later eyes locked on the stage across the bar, locked on Keith. His hair is pulled back into a messy bun, piled high so plenty of loose hairs fall around his neck and face. A nice choker around that pretty slim neck of his. He knows his baby is wearing a tight black crop top that shows off his fit pecs, narrow waist, and biceps to die for. But he can't see that beautiful midsection of bare skin while he's sitting behind the kit. A shame, really. He also knows Key is wearing high-waisted black skinny jeans with rips all down the thighs, and he might have spent a good deal of time admiring his butt when they were getting ready. Right before Keith started admiring his butt up close and personal. Those skilled hands of his, with delicate but sure fingers, slicked up with a lube as he stretched Lance open and slid the plug in, nice and snug. First time they slept together, Keith had told me he was skilled with his fingers. The boy can put his money where his mouth is. Keith has seen Keith play many, many times. He'll never get tired of it. He's so at home behind the drums. The stick's an extension of himself. His hands, arms, feet, all moving in tandem, entire body moving with it, creating a rhythm that seems to vibrate from his very core, spelling out to the world. It's very clear that Keith is the heartbeat of the band, of their music. Every song starts with a look between him and his bandmates. They all defer to him, waiting for his lead, and every song begins with a drum beat. It's unique. The way they built from the back forward. He has told Howards how every song has been written and composed specifically with his disability in mind. Most of them start with a written Keats. Sometimes he has melody in mind that is built on. Sometimes the artist will write something, lyrics, melody, a bass line. He will either pay attention to the rhythm of the lyrics or vibrations of the amp as the guitarist and bass play, and he'll build his own part from that. It's all incredibly complicated. It's all incredibly smart. It takes incredible talent, patience, and adjustment. It's just incredible. Keith is incredible. It sits behind those drums like he lives and breathes music. Like the rhythm stems from his own heartbeat. His pacing is impeccable. It's as consistent as a metronome. While he occasionally glances at his bands to make sure they're in time, it's never needed. They follow Keith's lead. His hearing might have faded years ago, but his love, passion, and talent for music is something that he clung to fiercely, something that can never be taken away. Lance watches him play, head bowed and eyes closed. There's a pinch to his brow, a wrinkle in his nose. His lips move, mouth along with lyrics he knows but has never heard. The music vibrates around the room. It fills the space, weaving throughout the loud murmur of conversation. Overlays the click of glasses and brash, drunk laughter. It bounces off the walls of the venue. The humping bass and complex rhythm vibrate through the floor. You can feel the kick of Keith's bass drum through the soles of his shoes. You can also feel the vibration deep inside his butt. See this butt plug of his? It's a new one, a special one they bought together. But is taking it for the first test drive. For one, it vibrates. For two, it's Bluetooth and long distance enabled. For three, it can sync up the thing. So it's in his butt, connected to Keith's phone, which is sitting next to him behind his drums, taking a deep pound of that bass and translating it straight into vibrations. There's something magical about it. Something gosh darn poetic. He's able to feel Keith's music visit deep inside him, right at its core. He can't help but fixate on it, on the vibration his butt is all around him, imagining a silent world where the vibrations of the soul sensation. Has he mentioned that he's sporting a half chub pressed uncomfortably against his jeans? Because he definitely is. The power set to low because Keith is freaking merciful, but it doesn't really matter. This is just hot AF. Honestly, in the crowd space, vibrations so achingly close, but not quite at his thing inside of the butt. The lovely stretch still present with echo memories of Keith's 11 fingers, watching his boy perform like the hot bad of this person he is, all tatted up and wearing black, so piercing glinted in the light. Lance is weak AF to this boy, both his heart and his vein. When the first half of the set comes to an end, they announce their break, tell everyone to tip their bartenders, and start to set aside their instruments. They tend to chat amongst themselves, sitting off the stage to the side, downing their drinks. Keith doesn't come over to the table, even though he knows exactly where it is. He prefers to stay on or near the stage during the breaks, likes to stay with his band, keeps his head in the right space, keeps himself in the music and the atmosphere. Lance can respect it, but that doesn't stop him from staring down until he catches Keith's gaze wandering to the table. When he has his attention, he lifts his hand, signing up quick. You're amazing. Have I ever told you that? He grins, bright and wholesome and so genuinely pleased. His face is flushed from exertion, very collar on his high cheekbones. Some of the stray strands of hair stick to the sweat dripping down his temple. It takes a deep pull from his water bottle before setting it aside. Thanks. Everything lined up? He looks momentarily worried, and Lance finds it incredibly endearing. Nah, perfect. Like always. He doesn't realize Pitch turned to him and notice what he's doing until they're slapping his hands, practically karate chopping them before they shove into space, signing a key through the gap in the crowd. Key laughs, and it's pretty in his face even if Lance can't hear it. Lance leans back, letting the rest of their friends send encouragement and praise across the room. Key takes it all happily, modestly pleased through mildly embarrassed, but Lance can only give him a good 5 minutes before he gets antsy and impatient. The vibration has stopped, and his legs are twitching, the need for more, for something. And Keith's down there, preferably. He cuts into the others, waving his hands as if to erase his hands. All right, you had your turn. His snorts, picking up their beer and smirking behind them a bit. What's the matter, Lance? Can't stand to get my boyfriend's attention for 2 seconds? I gave you 5 minutes. He huffs, making an indignant show of turn to face stage through the crowd, putting his back to his friends, lifting his chin and poising his hands in the air. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to talk to my boyfriend. Privately. What, you're gonna talk dirty across the room? They say with a smirk, all playful jazz and seasoned wit. Too bad she's spot on and Lance has no shame. That's exactly what I'm about to do. So if you don't want to be scarred, I suggest you don't eavesdrop. Pitch chokes on the beer, thrown into a cup and feel while Hunk worry pats the back. Laura laughs, Cheryl laughs. Lance ignores everyone as he turns eyes back to Keith, who's watching him with curiously quirking his brow and a missing light in his eyes. What was that about? He asked. Lance shrugs, offhandedly signing. Told Paige we're about to talk dirty, so she better look away. Even from this distance, you can see Keith's smirk twitching wider, trying not to laugh. Is that what we're doing? I mean, I was about to ask you to screw me, so yeah, there's a shift. It's subtle. It's delicate. It's in the way Keith's eyes go lidded. It's in the tilt of his chin. It's in the way his smirk settles just close enough to play with to be teasing, but firmly rooted in something more heated. How is it? Lance doesn't have to ask to know exactly what he's talking about. With a carefully neutral expression and with gestures that are far more stiff than his usual ASL voice, he moves a flat hand from his mouth to his waving palm. Good. Keith quirks a brow, tilting his head. Just good. Lance Hups makes a show of it enough to get his point across before saying, this time far more sass than the gestures. We're kind of in a crowded bar right now. I can't exactly emphasize just how good it is without getting some really weird looks. Because sign language? Subtle. No one besides their friends and Keith's bandmates might get a hint at what they're saying. It's great for having covert conversations across a busy room about the toy in his booty, but emphasis lies in facial expressions and yeah, Lance is about to out himself like that. He gets the immersed pleasure of watching Keith laugh, eyes twinkling and head thrown back and everything. And when finally looks at Lance again, despite his face still being alight with amusement, there's definitely something he'd lurk in his eyes. Is that good? Is it picking up the drums? Yeah, that good. It's definitely picking up the drums. It's insane. I can feel your music inside me. And that, there's a curious shift in Keith's expression. His smile fades a little. Still there, but more subtle. Her lip slips, some taking a moment to fiddle with his lip piercing. It's his thoughtful look, eyes listed in the dark. He's taking that in, processing, enjoying. Lance marks, till his head to expose the long curve of his neck. The dark mark he had left there like a bruise in the dim bar light. He bites his bottom lip, just the way he knows Keith likes, with his hands in a way that's languid and easy. A stretch and pull to it, a show to it. He's been with Keith long enough to know how to make hand gestures, well, seductive. I want you to try this. We'll sync it up to my voice. Let you feel my voice in a whole new way. Under stage light, from where Keith still sits behind his drum set, Lance can see the spark in his eyes. Yeah? Yeah. Keith moves slowly, holding eye contact as he reaches down for his phone, eyes flickering down to the screen once it's held in front of him. He doesn't need to question what Keith's doing. It becomes very apparent a second later when the thing busts to light once more. Very suddenly, very strongly. Then started by spasms before it can stop it, grabbing onto the table behind him for support as knees shake. Thank gosh for the general noise of a bar covering up the low buzz. Distantly, he hears Huck ask if he's alright, but he just absently waves him off, eyes locked on Keith on stage, smirking devilishly under the lights, heavy gaze, absolutely predatory, stripping Lance down from distance. Need you. Lance signs which against. Want you inside me. Please? Right now. Bathroom. But Keith's shaking his head. That wicked grin taking on a slight tilt. Something playful, something deadly. Something so freaking hot that Lance is aching against the zipper of his jeans. Oh, you have to wait. Lance pauses, but Keith's undeterred. We're only halfway through our set. Keith. Lance whines, dragging out his name sign as his poster sags, definitely using table for support as pleasure ripples through him. Frick, I don't know if I can make it. If you don't split shoe, I'll screw you in the car after the show. And frick, if that isn't the best gosh darn opera he's ever heard. He bites his lip hard to stop the sound brewing low in his throat, sighs through his notes when he mercifully lowers the power on the thing on the low hum. Okay, he signs, frantic and uncoordinated. Okay, okay, okay. I can do this. He just smirks, stands from his stool, and runs fingers through the loose strands of his hair. Lance can now see the beautiful strip of pale flesh and toned abs. Can see those high-waisted tie pants and how the cup is but just right as he turns to walk off stage. But not before he glances back at Lance, saying a quick but smoldering, "Good boy." And frick if it doesn't take every ounce of willpower not to splooge right then and there. oh, oh, are we actually starting off this immediate? Oh my gosh. Are we actually starting this already? And it's co-read, so this I have never read this before, but what? It's concert. But for Lance, concert plus pleasure. It's concert, but make it more pleasurable for him. Everybody else, it's an enjoyment because I could not explain this to you because there is a toy, as you want to call it, already there, already in Lance's, and he'll have that through Kate's music. Maybe drawing the beat, but he'll maybe like the bass of the beat or something like that. Yeah. Run the bass line, become a drummer, and once he wants to keep that drum state there, then it'll send through all its vibrations through Lance. Just for that. Oh my goodness, we are actually this already. I think we're halfway there finishing this. Like, am I crazy? Yeah, I'm crazy. Okay. let's continue on with this. Lance hisses, breath knocked out of him as his back hits the side of the car. He doesn't have much time to explain. Not that he was going to. As Keith's mouth comes down on his. Hard, messy, eager, all teeth and no grace, all tongue and no finesse. He's not here to build Lance up. He's been doing that all night. He's on adrenaline, fueled from the concert and knowing that his boyfriend has been sporting a hard on for most of the night. It was no time. Thank frick. After their set was done, he left the stage in a rush, grabbing Lance and dragging him outside. And now that they're back at the parking lot, sheltered by the cars around them, Keith shoves Keith right back against his car, hands hooking under his thighs and lifting him up, pinning him to his body. Keith's fingers are rough as he grips his thighs, hoisting them up around his bare waist, leaning to Lance like drowning man desperate for his last breath. It's all Lance can do to cling to him. Head spinning and body vibrating, literally, as pleasure ripples through him. He's shaking, but it's a dang good thing Key is holding him because he's not sure he could stand on his own. So close, so freaking close. He's been edged all night, and his body's on fire whenever Key touches. He's panting, moaning deep in his throat as Key cleans his mouth, bites his lips, mouth trailing down his jaw, nibbling and biting. Lance let his head hang back to Keith's thick sink into his throat, moaning loud and long so Keith can feel it in his jaw. Knows exactly what Keith wants. He wants to feel him, his body, his voice, his everything. Wants to ground himself in all the sensations to make up Lance. And Lance will give them to him, every single piece of himself. So he whines to his kiss. So he whines into the kiss. He groans when Keith bites at his throat. He clings and claws and buries his fingers. He keeps trying to pull when Keith ruts up against him because he wants Keith to feel him. Feel what he does to him. Feel how desperate and needy he gets just for Keith. He wants to grind back. Comes alive when there's finally some pressure on his hot dog. Finally some sweet relief. But Keith has him pinned. Holds him so to rut against and leave him breathless. Car. Lance breathes. Pull him back far enough to mouth the word against Keith's lips. He knows he probably can't tell that word it is, but it gets his attention. Lets him know Lance is trying to say something. But when he pulls back further to get a look at Lance's face, he says it again. Hand leaving Keith's head to slap against him behind him, assistant and impatient. Get in the car. Now. He only gets the flash before they're in motion again. Oh, it's a whirlwind. Keith keeps him lip locked as much as he can, trying to hold him up while he unlocks the car and opens the door. But he's unable to keep doing either. It's awkward. It's a mess. They knock Lance on the car door and Keith nearly drops Lance on the concrete. By the time they're ducking into the car, across the back seats, they're both laughing, grinning from ear to ear. It's out of bumped knees and elbows to the gut. A lot of grunts and huffs as they push and pull each other, trying to get situated but also unwilling to stop making out. Stop grabbing. Stop wandering hands from reaching haphazardly from each other's clothes. When they finally settle, Keith is sitting in the center of the back seat, legs splay wide and Lance in his lap. Lance's jeans are already unbuttoned. Slipper down, Keith's hand is shoved back of the grab his butt, forcing the grind against his own hard lipstick. Lance rocks with him, gasping, fingers fumbling at the front of Keith's jeans, shaking as he tries to get the buttons undone. Finally he helps, shoving Keith away and pushing back until he's perched on Keith's knees. Keith blinks up at him, and Lance's hands are already face bursts to his sternpout. I swear to God, if you don't get this thing out of me and frick me in the next 10 seconds, he doesn't get to finish. He is already searching for it to capture his mouth once more, Before Lance can move to push him away, Keith's hands are already working, pushing, shoving, working at his jeans. It's awkward, needlessly difficult with Keith's tongue in his mouth, but he doesn't complain. It's messy, it's sloppy, it's quick and desperate, and exactly what he's been needing. They get his pants off, tossed to the floor, before Lance is standing back on Keith's lap. Nate's bracketing his hips. Keith gets his own jeans undone, but that's as far as he gets before Lance is swatting his hands aside, diving past his wristband to wrap his fingers around Keith's banana. As he pulls it out, he takes a moment to admire it. Pretty and flush. He gives a slow, teasing stroke, running his thumb through the bead of this pre-substance and pressing the bat of it to the barbell that runs under the head. He hisses and Lance smiles, going up on his knees and reaching behind him. He grimaces as he pulls the plug out. The wicked little thing still vibrating as he tosses it aside. Forgotten, unbanded, no longer needed. Meanwhile, Key reaches for the condom and lube packet as they stashed in here earlier, tearing him his teeth and getting himself ready as Lance did the same. Eye contact, lit it, and headed in the shadows of the car. Keith's hands on his hips, fingers curl around to his butt. Lance rests up on his knees, one hand on Keith's shoulder to steady himself, the other behind him, guiding Keith's wiener, pressing it against his fluttering hold. He sucks in a tight breath as he sinks down, as he feels the beads of Keith's piercing past his rim, as he nestles Keith's deep inside him. Keith's merciful. He gives a moment to adjust, slowly breathing heavy and running his hands all along Nan's skin, from knee to thigh, slipping up under his shirt to feel his sides before moving back down. And Lance leans forward, pressing his forehead to Keith's, running his fingers through his hair and pulling it from the missing button. He tilts his head, tower over him, turning his head so their mouths align before whispering, "Break me." He doesn't need to hear and to recognize those words against his lips to know the sentiment. And he doesn't need to be told twice. Keith's grip ends, and Lance helps him by rising up on his knees, and then he drops, drawing a sharp gasp and low moan for both of them. Keith hits good, hits deep, hits in all the right places that the toy just couldn't reach. The stretch burns just right. Don't get me wrong, he loves freaking Keith within an inch of his life. He bends over and pretty with Lance's handprints, nice and red on those perfect pale cheeks. But there's something special about bottoming, something addicting about being so overwhelmingly full. Something about having Keith's hands on him, hits rolling by him, hits rolling beneath him as it bounces on his hot dog. Something about having Keith sweating and panting, face twisted up and brows pinched as he drives himself home again and again. And he hits just right, just there. Keith. The name slips from his lips, hoarse and rag, needy and desperate. And it's a gosh darn shame he can't hear how absolutely wrecked he sounds. So he leans forward, one arm wrapped around his shoulders, and the other fisted in front of his shirt. He buries his face in a crook of Keith's neck, presses his mouth right up his throat, beneath his jaw, and lets himself ever. Keith, Frick, so good, so good. Frick, right there. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop. I'm close. I'm so close. And he knows Keith can't hear the words. He can't even distinguish the words, but he can't feel them. He can feel it as Lance's mouth moves against his throat, his neck, beneath his jaw, against his ear. He can feel Lance babbling, frantic and desperate. He can feel the movements of his lips and the vibrations of his voice and the heat of his breath. And Keith's pace picks up with it until he's pulling Lance down against every thrust, screwing up into him like he's a gosh darn light depends on it. his own bread rag and catching Lance pitch ram fills the car. Then Lance's name is on Keith's tongue, so hoarse and so broken and sweet. And Lance's hand slips from Keith's shirt down to his corn, jerking himself in rough strokes, quick and desperate in time with Keith's drum hips. His whole body goes tense, coiling as heat burns from him, muscles locking up as pleasure rolls through him, and it spills over his hand onto Keith's exposed head. Keith, he wins, pants, chants against Keith's name. He wonders if Keith knows the shape of his name when Lance says it again. Keith. Keith's hips stutter, uncoordinated, until he's going tight beneath Lance, and a low guttural groan escapes him. They ride to the aftershock scare, hips quickly rolling until they stop, leaving the two of them catching their breath. Lance collapsed on top of Keith, and Keith's arms wrapped tightly around Lance's back. And in that silence, that warm, blissful, content silence, Lance turns his head, presses his lips to the hollow beneath Keith's ear to whisper, I love you. Perhaps he knows the shape of those words. Perhaps he knows the length and cant of the vibrations. Perhaps he simply recognized the sentiment. But either way, he chuckles, low and fond and achingly sweet as he tilts his head, pressing the soft kiss to Lance's temple as he says, I love you too. I cannot believe it. For all the for all the years that I have been trying to read this whole thing and doing this up, finally did it. I finally finished reading this one shot, and it's cold read, and that was that was very beautiful. But yeah, it was exhausting. I'm trying to read all those out, but oh my god. Yep, that's how it is. They finally did it. They finally did the do in the car. That's awesome. That is a little pressure right now, and that's like I cannot believe that that really happened. Oh yeah, there's a spot scene here. I'm not gonna even show it to you because it's not there, but there is a scene art piece right there. You're gonna you'll find it. You'll find it somewhere. It's I don't know. But yeah, you'll find it somewhere. There's a lot of NSFW stuff and whatnot, but that's pretty much behind all what was going on with everything in that one shot. That's a sequel they made from the band, from performing something into this restaurant all the way to ooh, making love in the car. That's pretty much all there is to it, and there's nothing else in that matter. That's just basically it. There's nothing else to it. I'm finally done with that sequel. Hopefully, there's going to be another sequel for that. I'm not sure, but that's all pretty much you can get from this revisited version of my Flames. So, hope you enjoy it. Hope you enjoy this fig, and I hope you enjoy this video. And I'm probably gonna have to relax myself from this one shot because, oh my gosh, can't believe I read that. And let's go over too. Heck. All right, guys. Bye.